Customs and Border Protection announced today the number of people crossing the border illegally is at an all-time low. We've reported on people who cross and die from that journey.
Yeah, many of the victims found on ranch land miles away from the border. And Channel 5's Angela Vargas spoke with a rancher and also the people trying to locate the remains of those who did not survive the journey. Angela.
A Brooks County rancher tells us remains of unscattered travelers are across his property. He's getting help from Border Patrol, a Brooks County Sheriff's Office, and volunteers who want to help find these people, bring closure to their loved ones.
Crime scene supplies, a couple of knives, since they're always handy.
A number of items are needed when tracking people who are alive or used to be. They are usually marked by these orange utility flags.
I use those for, if we find initial remains, I'll start marking them as we do our search.
A series of man-made trails cover this ranch in Brooks County.
They collapse and die close to where they've been walking. And sometimes the people they're with will put them in the shade of a tree. See, like there's a water bottle.
We were able to walk through the sand and brush with Brooks County Sheriff's Deputy Don White.
To lose somebody in your family without knowing what happened to them, where they're at, and have nothing to bury, nothing to relate to in relation to their death, that's pretty harsh.
White volunteers his time and searches for remains. He finds them in ranches like this one across the county.
It's probably a half a dozen ranches that we've been on lately.
Alto, Colorado ranch owner Tress Miller says he agreed for White to search his land.
We've found bodies out there before, and we've called the sheriff's department that we've discovered bodies because this has been happening for a long time. It seems to be getting worse, and I think it's probably because of the economic situation and some of the political turmoil that's going down in Latin America, in my opinion.
Miller knows firsthand what people go through on his ranch.
I've seen some really pitiful stories in my lifetime where some of these little 12-year-old kids come marching up there to the house, crying and lost, terrified, 2 days out there in the brush.
Miller says in some cases, people don't get help.
They're just left there to die by the coyotes in most cases, and no one knows they're there. They're not reported. They're not, they pass away right there, and no one knows about it.
White says he wants people to know what it's like on these ranch lands.
If word gets back to Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, all that, how rough this is, maybe it'll change their minds and the death rate will go down.
Miller agrees and says a different tactic like a border wall may be useful.
I think that wall also will save lives, in my opinion. It's going to stop a lot of the young and elderly trying to make that journey, and they don't realize that they're risking their lives.
Today, we didn't find any remains. White says it's considered a good day. He hopes it continues. White explains they have found a total of 17 remains so far this year. Across Brooks County, they have found more than 500 since 2009. Live and outside the Talladega County newsroom, Angelo Vargas, Channel 5 News at 6.
And we wanted to know more about how this search was established and the latest numbers. This is a Channel 5 News Extra. Brooks County Sheriff Benny Martinez tells us they partnered with Border Patrol in their Missing Migrant initiative about 6 months ago. Once the remains are found, they go to Texas State University for testing. Martinez says they have found 548 bodies since 2009 and acquired 750 rescuers so far with the help from the Border Patrol. According to U.S. Border Patrol Southwest Border Statistics, in 2016, it's reported the Rio Grande Valley sector saw 130 deaths in 2016. This is the second largest amount since 2012.